What if everything you thought you knew about Yoo Yeon-seok was only the beginning? In When the Phone Rings, Yoo Yeon-seok delivered a performance so haunting, so layered, that fans and critics alike couldn't look away. But what if we told you that the real drama, the shocking twists, the hidden truths, and the spine-tingling confessions happened off camera? Welcome to the ultimate deep dive with Red Carpet Revealed, where we uncover 13 jaw-dropping secrets that will forever change how you see Yoo Yeon-seok and his role in the year's most mind-bending drama. 1. The role that almost destroyed him. Before filming even began, Yoo Yeon-seok nearly walked away from the project. Rumors swirled of emotional breakdowns during script readings. Insiders revealed that the character's psychological complexity mirrored a dark period from Yoo's own past, so eerily close that it triggered weeks of sleepless nights. It felt like I was staring into a mirror that showed me my worst fears, Yoo reportedly confessed to a close friend. 2. He didn't just act, he lived. Unlike his usual prep, Yoo Yeon-seok went full method for this role. For 2 months, he lived alone, disconnected from social media, family, and even sunlight, just like his character in the show. Cast members noted that during filming, they were talking to the character, not the actor. The transformation was so intense that even seasoned staff members avoided eye contact with him on set. 3. An injury kept secret until now. Midway through filming a critical chase scene, Yoo fractured his ankle but continued shooting for 3 straight days without telling the director. Only later, when he physically collapsed after a take, did the crew realize something was wrong. Hospital reports later confirmed he was working with severe internal bruising and a cracked bone. The pain helped me understand my character's desperation, he said later with a faint smile. 4. The haunting call scene was based on a real event. The chilling moment when Yoo answers the phone and hears a voice from his past. That scene was inspired by a real incident the writer experienced. Yoo was told the full story only minutes before filming to evoke a raw, unfiltered reaction. And it worked. The scream that followed wasn't in the script. 5. He rewrote the final scene without telling anyone. In a move that shocked the entire production, Yoo revised his character's last monologue alone the night before shooting. Without informing the director, he performed the version he felt his character would truly say. The gamble paid off. The emotionally charged scene went viral and is now considered one of his best ever performances. 6. There was a hidden message in his costume. Every piece of clothing Yoo wore carried coded symbols. The production team worked with a psychologist to embed subtle emotional cues into his wardrobe. His shirts would subtly shift from tight to loose depending on his mental state. Even his shoes told a story. One pair was a size too small intentionally to mirror his character's emotional discomfort. 7. He lost 8 kilograms for one episode. For a flashback scene depicting his character at rock bottom, Yoo starved himself for nearly a week, dropping 8 kilograms. Crew members said he was pale, silent, and visibly shaking, but insisted on doing the scene in one take. The result? A brutally honest portrait of despair that left everyone on set in stunned silence. 8. A real phone call that changed everything. During a late-night rehearsal, Yoo's phone rang unexpectedly. He answered out of habit and froze. No one knows what he heard, but witnesses say he walked off set in a daze and didn't return for hours. The mystery call was never explained, but the next day his performance reached a terrifying new depth. 9. He turned down Hollywood for this role. Just weeks before signing on to When the Phone Rings, Yoo was reportedly offered a major supporting role in a Hollywood film alongside an A-list actor, but he declined. Why? Because he believed this character could break me, and I needed that. 10. The creepy voice on the phone that was him. In a mind-bending twist, Yoo secretly voiced the mysterious caller that torments his character throughout the series. He recorded the lines alone in the middle of the night to ensure a raw, eerie tone. Viewers didn't know they were hearing him talking to himself the whole time. 11. His eyes were edited to look more tired, but sometimes they didn't need to be. The post-production team initially planned to digitally add shadows and redness to Yoo's eyes to show fatigue and breakdown. But by episode 6, no editing was necessary. Yoo's real exhaustion and emotional strain were already visible. 12. One scene left the director in tears. In episode 10, there's a silent moment when Yoo's character simply sits and listens. No music, no dialogue, just a manophone and the unbearable weight of regret. It was an unscripted moment, Yoo added instinctively. The director watching from the monitor reportedly wept and asked for the cameras to keep rolling. 13. He almost didn't return for the final shoot. Just days before filming the finale, Yoo reportedly packed his bags and disappeared to a remote village. He needed to detach emotionally and mentally. The producers were terrified. But exactly 48 hours later, he returned sharper and more intense than ever before. That energy shaped the ending into something unforgettable. When the final scene was shot and the lights on set dimmed for the last time, most actors might have sighed in relief, but not Yoo Yeon-seok. Sources close to the actor revealed that even after production wrapped, he struggled to detach from the role. He reportedly kept his character's journal beside his bed, rereading it late into the night. It took nearly 2 months before he could go a full day without slipping into his character's speech patterns or behaviors. There were moments I'd answer my own phone and freeze, Yoo admitted in a rare interview. For a split second, I didn't know who I was expecting to hear on the other end. Friends described him as emotionally fragile, almost haunted. One described it as watching a man caught between two realities, his and his characters. The cast that held their breath behind the scenes. Yoo's commitment created both admiration and concern. Several co-stars revealed they avoided rehearsing privately with him, not because he was unkind, but because his energy was so intense it was almost suffocating. Actress Jung Hye-won, who played opposite Yoo in several emotionally charged scenes, confessed in an interview, "There were days I left the set shaking. His energy was so raw it made everything feel real, too real." Another cast member revealed that during a key confrontation scene, Yoo's tears came so suddenly and violently that the crew had to halt filming not for technical reasons but because everyone on set was emotionally overwhelmed. A shadow over future roles. Yoo's performance left such a powerful mark that directors began to hesitate before casting him again, not out of doubt but out of fear. "How do you ask someone to live through that again?" one producer asked. Even Yoo's own agency reportedly imposed a 2-month recovery break, citing emotional and psychological exhaustion. He was quietly seen visiting a remote seaside town alone, where he reportedly walked along the shore for hours each morning. There were rumors that he considered turning down 3 major projects that followed, including a highly anticipated political thriller. His reason: "I need to feel like myself again," he reportedly told his manager. Fan reaction from shock to devotion. When the show aired, fans were quick to notice that something was different. Yoo's portrayal wasn't just convincing, it was unsettling. It felt too real. Fan forums exploded with speculation about whether he had gone too deep too far. Some praised him as a genius, others feared for his well-being. Online, a group of dedicated fans launched a hashtag #ProtectYoo-yeon-seok, urging the industry to provide better psychological support for actors who go to such emotional extremes. One viral post read, "We all love the performance, but did it cost him too much?" An ending that was almost changed. Here's a final shocking revelation. The series' original ending was far more hopeful. But after seeing Yoo's performance during the final days of shooting, the writers and producers gathered for an emergency meeting. They agreed the story had evolved beyond their original vision. The script was rewritten in less than 72 hours, reshaping the last 15 minutes of the finale into something darker, more ambiguous, and more true to Yoo's portrayal. The twist: Yoo was the one who proposed it. "The audience deserves honesty," he told the team. "Sometimes not all phones should be answered. It's rare in any actor's lifetime to find a role that pushes every emotional, mental, and physical limit and leaves behind a legacy." But when the phone rings became that role for Yoo Yeon-seok, it wasn't just a performance, it was a confession, a breakdown, a rebirth on screen. And perhaps it will forever be remembered as the moment he crossed over from star to legend. Because after this, Yoo Yeon-seok is no longer just an actor. He is a storyteller who sacrificed a piece of himself to bring fiction terrifyingly close to reality.